With headlines today, our top story at 3:30 as pressure mounts on former Supreme Court Judge Justice Ashok Kumar Ganguly to quit following allegations of sexual harassment from a former law intern. More damning allegations against him have been placed before the Union Cabinet, which will shortly decide on whether or not to ask for a formal investigation against the former judge. The Union Cabinet today will decide on a presidential reference to initiate a Supreme Court-led investigation into sexual harassment charges levelled at the retired judge by a former law intern last year. At the Cabinet note, accessed by headlines today, has other details emerging for the first time. The Cabinet note mentions that Justice Ganguly accepted payments during his term of office, an offence that warrants removal by the President. It goes on to detail that the payments were for an arbitration case pertaining to violence in a league match. The Cabinet note also mentions that Justice Ganguly visited Pakistan between the 3rd of June and the 6th of June last year without mandatory permission from the state governor required under Rule 6. His ticket was allegedly provided by a private organization named Socio-Legal Information Center, and that he accepted foreign hospitality when he visited Pakistan. Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde has said he will place a note before the Cabinet recommending action. The Home Ministry will also present the views of Attorney General Ghulam Vanwati, who noted that a case can be made out against Justice Ganguly. Meanwhile, the relentless call for Justice Ganguly's resignation has only gotten shriller. Like crucial details now accessed by headlines today on the Cabinet note that is being presented over action against Justice Ganguly. Headlines today has learned that the Cabinet note mentions that Justice Ganguly accepted payments during his term of office, an offence that warrants removal by the President. It goes on to detail the payments were for an arbitration case relating to violence in a league match. So clearly more evidence being gathered against retired Supreme Court Judge Justice A.K. Ganguly. The Cabinet note also mentions that Justice Ganguly visited Pakistan for 3 days last year without mandatory clearance. In fact, he also was the ticket for that tour was provided by a private organization named Socio-Legal Information Center. Another allegation against him that he accepted foreign hospitality when he visited Pakistan. The pressure mounting on retired Supreme Court Judge Justice A.K. Ganguly to step down from the position of Chairman of the West Bengal Human Rights Commission as well. For more, let's get in a word from our political editor Karthika Sharma, who's joining us on the phone line from the national capital. Karthika, crucial details are coming to light apart from the case of sexual harassment which the Supreme Court panel had observed can be made against him.
You see, it's not only about the sexual harassment case. There's case of impropriety against Mr. Justice Ganguly. The Cabinet note, which headlines today is access, goes on to say that he accepted foreign hospitality. He stayed in Pakistan. Tickets were given by a private organization. And these were the issues on which Attorney General had said that it requires a presidential reference, which means that the President can give his assent and the matter can go to Supreme Court for removal of Mr. Ganguly. So these are very important allegations. It's not only about sexual misconduct. It's about the fact that Mr. Ganguly went to Pakistan, took hospitality, stayed in Park Lane in the Clifton area, and that was in defiance of the rule. And this is part of the Cabinet note on which AG's opinion has been taken. And the Cabinet note goes on to say that this is a provision on which the Mr. Ganguly, who is the Chairman of the State Human Rights Commission of West Bengal, can also be tried. So these are very serious charges. One, sexual misconduct. Another is that he is being if to use the word correctly, taking hospitality from a foreign country and without the permission of the government. And on this he can also be tried. On this he can be probed. So these are multiple issues. It's not a single issue. So Mr. Ganguly, if this permission comes through, will be probed on multiple points.
Well, Justice Ganguly expected to be quizzed on multiple charges, including sexual harassment and impropriety. Karthika Sharma, political editor, getting us crucial details of that Cabinet note. Karthika, it also looks like the Home Minister is likely to place a note before the Cabinet recommending strict action against a retired judge.
You see, what happens is that this note will be given to the president because you require green signal from the president of India for any such procedure to be taken against a constitutional authority. Mr. Ganguly is now a constitutional authority. So President Pranab Mukherjee will go through the note. Once he gives the yes, the matter will go to the Supreme Court for the action to be taken, which then will not only acquire a very serious turn for Mr. Ganguly, the courts will have the power to remove him officially. So then I would say that the countdown for Mr. Ganguly will begin.
All right. Let's also get a word from social activist Ranjana Kumari, who's joining us on the phone line. Ma'am, your first reaction to being told that it's not just charges of sexual harassment that have been levelled against Justice Ganguly. He also faces serious charges of impropriety before his retirement.
Well, it is a good news that there will be investigation. I think such cases need to be followed by an investigation to establish the crime. And if it is sexual harassment, it has to be proven and properly, investigated. And I hope that after the investigation, he will be given the adequate, punishment for what he has done.
All right, Ms. Kumari, but now it's not just the allegation of sexual harassment. There are also other serious charges being levelled against the retired judge, which include accepting foreign hospitality when he was in Pakistan. He apparently travelled there on a ticket provided by a private company, and he did this without taking permission from the government.
Well, I think these are the charges which needs to be looked into, and these are the charges which, and also from the appropriate body that should investigate these charges, because, all of a sudden we are hearing quite a few things about him. So what is behind all this? Is it how much is true? How much is, whatever is the issue has to be investigated. That is all I can say at this